So I'm re-executing the one again. To increase the drawing area, you can maximize and zoom in or zoom out options can be used over here. And to see only the job, you can close these repository and filter as well, which will give a better view. Let me off the grid lines as well. Okay, so these are the icon which I'm showing is the grid lines, which is going to used to align our job in a good looking way. Like say suppose I do have something like this. To align these things in a single line, we can use these grid lines, the lines which you are seeing on my screen currently. Okay. So filter stage, the main purpose of the filter stage is to apply filter on my data based on the key column, like on which particular column we would like to apply the filter. This can be integer kind of filter or character kind of filter. Filter can also be applied. For example, say suppose there are some department names like IT department or consulting department or a development team or supporting team, something like that. Then we can also, instead of giving 10, department name is equal to, whenever we are comparing any string, we need to provide in double quotes. So we need to give the name over here, something like IT. Then it is going to apply the filter on this particular column where we are filtering the data based on a string. So filter can be applied on both integer type of columns and also character type of columns. Okay. And the other thing is, apart from filtering, we can also capture the rejected data. That means here we are doing, we do have total of 8 records and we are filtering only department 10, right? And department 10 data is only of 3 rows. Out of 8 rows, only 3 rows having department ID as 10. I would like to see the other 5 rows as well. So to capture other 5 rows, we can do that through the reject link. So here in the filter option itself, in the stage menu bar, in the options you see output rejects is false. That means we are not currently capturing any rejected data. So say suppose I would like to capture the rejected data as well, then I need to keep this one as a true. Okay. So this means we are capturing the rejected data, but where we need to save that data. Again, we need to keep a file or any database. That is all dependent on the requirement. For now, we are going to save in a file again. So let me add a sequential file. I'm copying the same sequential file and pasting it over here. Later, I'll change the properties. So this is my rejected data, right? So I'm renaming it as sequential rejected. Okay. And this link need to be added to filter. It is saying already same name is available. The link name is same for these two things, which is not allowed. So I'm changing this to link to reject. No two links are going to have same name. That is not acceptable. So now I am joining to this one. But here this link is a stream link. Stream link comes as a solid line. So that means filter stage is going to understand this thing as another filter, but it do not understand this link as a reject link. To convert it to a reject link, right click on the link and click on this one, convert it to reject. So all reject links will appear like these dashes. They will not come in a solid continuous line. All reject links will come with separated by spaces. Okay. Now this is our reject link. Okay. So this has been kept true. And here you see the primary reject is enabled. Say suppose I do not have this one. I do not have this link. Then that primary reject is there, right? Which is going to be disabled. So this is going to enable only if we have the reject link over here. So I'm adding one more link. To add a link, we need to right click on the stage and drag from there. It is going to produce a link for us. Now I am right clicking on my link and checking as converted to reject, which is going to add a reject link. Okay. So now we also need to map the columns as well. So go to output tab. This is link to target. We need to map for reject link, which is my other link. So it is saying the currently selected link is a reject output link. Mapping from this type of link is not permitted. That means to a reject link, there is no need to map the columns. Whatever columns are flowing to this main link, they will also flow to the reject link as well. I'm changing the name of the link. link to reject. Okay. So we are done with plugging in the filter reject options. Now we need to add the details over here where you would like to add the file. I'm copying the same path and same file name, but I will change the file name in this file. I'm adding it, and let me add department not 10.txt. Okay, and I'm changing the formattings, like I'm keeping the delimiter as pipe symbol instead of comma, and I'm also not keeping any quotations, and I want first line as columns. Then go to properties, first line column names should be set up as true. Okay, so as we discussed yesterday, the main things that we need to configure for a sequential stage is we need to go to stage, we need to give an appropriate name for our stage, and either it is input or output. It is going to be output when sequential file stage is used as a source system. If we use the sequential file as a target, then we are going to have input tab. In this input tab, we need to give file path and file name where we would like to save the data. Then we also need to take care of first line can be column names or not. And the third thing is the formatting things. So what is your delimiter? Let's say I want final delimiter as semicolon. Okay. Now let's compile and execute this one. Compiled successfully. Now I'm executing my job. So out of 8 rows, 3 rows been saved to the primary filter, which is nothing but where department ID is 10, and the all other records saved to my rejected file. Okay. Say suppose I want two filters, like I want to capture department IT department and sales department. Like say suppose department number 10 and department number 20. Then what we need to do is we need to keep one more output link from my filter, and I also need to add one more file. So I'm adding a sequential file, and to this one I'm naming it as sequential department 20. Okay, and I also need to change the link name as well, link department 20. Now here go to links where you can see all the output links. So as of now we do have 3 links. Out of 3 output links, one is reject link, 2 are stream links. So 0 link is nothing but department 10 data, and department 20 data is link label 1. But for this we have to add the where condition. So where I need to add the condition is in the stage, go to properties, in the predicates we need to add that where condition. Okay, so here you can see the where clause, right? We need to click on this predicates and add the where clause. So what is our second where clause, or what is our second condition is department ID is equal to 20. Okay. So we are done with 2 filters. We also need to check what is my first filter and what is my second filter. And here we need to give the link as well. So department 10 should go to which link? Output link should be 0, not 1. So how we know this 0 and 1? Again, for department ID 20 also we need to add the output link, and here it should be 1. So how we are going to know how to keep this output link as 0 and 1 is go to link ordering, there see the link name. So we need to, that's the reason we need to maintain the link names appropriately. Here it is link department 20, whereas it is link to target. Instead, let me keep it as link department 10, so that we'll know where we are saving department 10 data and department 20 data. So all the departments having 20 value is going to save in this particular file. All the rows having department 10 is going to save in this particular file, right? So we need to know the link names. Accordingly, we need to align the where conditions. So if where clause, here we need to see the link labeling. Department 10 have label 0, Department 20 has label 1. So go to the properties. Here, department 10 label is 0. So output link is 0. In the similar way, department 20 having output link 1. So those are going appropriately. If we confuse and doing this setup in a wrong way, then all our job is going to mislead. All the data is going to be merged unnecessarily, not as per the requirement it will go. Okay. So we need to take care while setting up these things. And all the rejected data, that means the data which is not in the data where the department ID is not 10 and not 20 is going to be saved in my rejects. So let me compile this one. So there is a compilation error. Columns are defined for filter department link 20. No columns are defined. That means we have not done the column mapping for this particular one. So go to filter department, go to the output tab, and here we need to select the 20 department link. See, no columns been mapped. So we need to map the columns. That's why we received a compilation error. Now all the columns been passed. Also, we need to take care the sequential file properties. So here we need to add department number, department20.txt. And I'm keeping the formattings as is. I would also like to save first line as column name. So I'm setting it to true. Now let me recompile it. This time job successfully compiled with no errors. Now let's execute this one. So all my 8 rows been flowed to respective links. In these 8 rows, whatever data having department ID as 10, that is saved to this particular file, and department 20 data saved here, and rest other rows saved to my reject link. Let me check the data. We can see the data through the stage and also at the place where we are saving. Click on view data. So once after clicking view data, we are getting a pop-up, right? How many rows would you like to see? Maximum we can able to see 9999 rows through this console. So see all the names having department ID as 10. So once after designing and executing, we also need to check whether the data is flowing as expected or not. So here all the department data is 20 department ID related data. And the last file, which is rejected data, this data should not have department ID as 10 and 20. So see here, department number is not 10 and not 20. Okay. So this is all about filter stage. Let me quickly brief, re-summarize the complete filter stage and sequential file stage as well, so that we'll conclude these two stages. Okay. Sequential file stage can be used both source and target, but it cannot be used as a processing stage or transformation stage. Through sequential file stage, we cannot do any transformation. Either we can use it as a source or a target. Here we are using both source and target. While extracting the data through sequential file, we can able to read .txt and .csv kind of files. And we need to take care 3 major things while configuring a sequential file. One is where the file is located, what is the file name. Second one is whether the first line or first row is having column names or not. And the third thing is we need to check on the formatting things, like what is the delimiter, what is the final delimiter, and what else we do have, and quotations are added to the data or not. These are the things that we need to majorly concentrated while configuring a sequential file. And then we also need to give the metadata which is in sync with our actual data. Then only we can able to read the data. Then our second stage, which is filter stage. The main motive of a filter stage is to apply filter on the data. It is been used as a transformation stage. It cannot be used either source or target. Only for processing the data, we use filter stage. Filter stage accepts one input link and multi output links. So it is having one input link and n number of output links. These n number is completely dependent on the requirement. We can apply the filter on both integer, date, and boolean or any sort of any data type of column. We can apply this filter stage. After having the filtered data, still we can also save the rejected data through reject link. We need to take care on the link names and the filtering condition that we are giving over here, and we also take care on the mapping columns in the output tab. This is all about filter stage. Now let's see another processing stage. So I'm closing this job. So as of now, my drawing area is not having anything. To view repository and palette, we need to click on this view button. There you can see palette. And so as of now, my palette is blank because I do not have any job over here. Once I open a parallel job, then we'll get a activated palette. So let me click on repository so that we can view the repository as well. Now let me open a new parallel job. Then I'm going to get my palette filled with the stages. So now I have opened a new parallel job. Before starting up with another stage, let me show you what are all the files that is being generated. So my department 20 been saved with comma delimiter, but the rejected data we saved using department not 10 is the rejected data. This is the file name that we have given. So I asked to add a pipe delimiter, right? That's why I have added pipe symbol over here, and there is no double quotes to my data, and final delimiter is semicolon. So all the data been added as per our configuration in the job. Let me go back to my Datastage designer. Let's understand remove duplicate stage. So the main purpose of remove duplicate stage is to remove the duplicates that are available in our source file. Source can be a file or it can be a database as well. Once we understand about database connector, then we will try to use the database stage. As of now, let's take another sequential file as a source, and we will add duplicates and then we will try to remove them. So this is the remove duplicate stage, which is available in my processing tab. So as I told, we are going to use file as my source. So I'm dragging a sequential file and target also a sequential file. So first I need to extract the data from my source file. Then the link need to be connected to remove duplicate stage, which is going to remove the duplicates. Then from remove duplicate stage, I am connecting a link to my target file. Let's rename these things. Sequential source, link to remove duplicate. This is remove duplicate. This is link to target, and this is sequential target. So we need to save this one. Otherwise, even this skeleton is not going to be available. Unless until we do not save our job, it is not going to be saved. So let me save this skeleton, even though no plugins are added. I'm saving in March folder itself. Demo remove duplicates. I'm saving this one. Now let's go to our desktop and check for a sample file. So let's take this data, which is student.txt file. I'm copying this file and placing in March folder for a better understanding. Let me make a folder and add RD, which is remove duplicate. Inside this folder, I'm saving that student.txt. So what does duplicate means? When we do have something two times or not or more than one time, then we call it as a duplicated record, right? So how we can say something as a duplicate? If I ask, I would like to know duplicate records based on student roll number. That means we are trying to check in the class anyone do have same roll number or not. So that means we are considering a key column before stating that it is a duplicate or not, right? So here in our case, let's consider the location. Okay, here Hyderabad is repeated, Bangalore is also repeated. So these are the two regions which are available. So I would like to know what are all the distinct locations that are available in a file. That means I'm calling the data as duplicate if location is repeated more than one time, right? So let's try to capture all the distinct locations that are available in this particular file. Okay, then what should be our key column? Location is going to be our key column because we are telling I would like to know distinct locations from this particular file. Then what we are trying to do is we are trying to remove the duplicates on location column, right? So to do the same thing, let's see how to implement the same thing using a job. So here we need to give the source file path. I'm copying this path and I'm placing on the job properties. It is going to be available in the output tab properties. Then we need to give the file name, which is student.txt. Now, whether first line is column names or not. Yes, first line is column names. If you see student name, class, section, school, and location. So first line is column names, but not the actual data. So go here and make this as true. So what it is going to do is it is going to skip the first row and read the data from second row. What is the format? Final delimiter is end. Actual delimiter is pipe symbol. So go and check the data again. Here the delimiter is pipe symbol and there is no quotations added to my data. So quotation should be none. Now we need to add the metadata. Student name, class, section. Student name, class, section, school and location. School and location. Let's see the data types. Only class is integer, rest all are character only. So for class, I'm keeping integer. We are done with the metadata as well. Let's try to view the data and see whether we can able to read it or not. Click on view data, click on OK. So we can able to read the data. That means the plugin for my sequential file is completed. Let's come to remove duplicate stage. Here it is asking what is the key. That means on which basis you would like to say your record is duplicate or not. As we discussed, let's take location as our key. So here we need to select the column name. Location is our key. Based on location, I would like to remove the duplicates. So then it is asking which record to retain, duplicate to retain. That means if you see Hyderabad 3 times or 4 times or 5 times, then out of these 5 records, which record should I keep? Anything is fine because here we would like to see the distinct number of locations. So I'm keeping as is, duplicate to retain is first record. This is the only setting that we need to do over here. Later we need to go to output tab and need to map the columns. That's all. Done with remove duplicate plugin also. Now here, I don't want all the columns because I would only like to, or I'm interested only to see only the distinct locations, right? So I'm removing everything else and I'm keeping only the location. Okay, I'm mapping only location to my target. So now I'm saving this file as in the same path, distinct regions .txt format. I'm keeping quotations as none and only one column I want. So done plugging with the sequential file. Here we need to take a file path and file name. First name is column names or not, and the formatting. Okay, all are done. I'm compiling my job. Now I'm executing. So see how many rows we have received in the output, 2 rows. Let's see the data as well. We are going to see only one particular column, which is nothing but location, because I mapped only region to my output. So you can see only one column is there. And the data is Bangalore and Hyderabad. I'm closing this file. This is one of the use case. Sometimes there might be cases where complete record is going to be duplicated. Okay, or else duplicate is going to determine based on the key column. So say suppose student name is my key column. That means let me repeat some of the rows so that you will try to understand. So here I repeated Bhanu 2 times, Bhavya 2 times, and Bharani also 2 times. Okay, and let me add another column as date. So here I'm giving, or else let's not do. So now I would like to remove the duplicates based on student name. So because I have Banu entry twice, Bhavya entry twice, Bharani entry twice, which is nothing but duplicated record. So to do, I'm saving this file. So to remove the duplicates based on student name, what is the change that we need to do is, here instead of location, we need to give student name. And which record would you like to retain? First record or last record? I would like to retain the first record. That means, so this is the data, right? Banu Hyderabad and Banu Bangalore. Okay. So for Banu, how many region locations are there? One is Hyderabad location, other one is Bangalore location. Okay. Now I want to retain the first record, but I don't want to retain the second record. That means in the output, I should see only Hyderabad Banu record, but not the Bangalore record. In such cases, we need to keep this option duplicate to retain as first. Say suppose I want last record, then that means the Bangalore record, then we need to click on last. So this is the major use of this particular option. Which record would you like to retain? And in the output, I want all the columns, not only the location. So I'll map all the columns this time. And I'm changing the file name as distinct students.txt. Now I'm compiling my job and I'm executing. So I kept everything as is, but I changed only the key column. So which records are being treated as duplicates is something which we need to take care while taking the requirement, or else they will not tell that Yeah.
Yeah, what if you have three entries of the same name?
Sorry.
What if you have three entries like of the same name with different locations?
Then also only one record will come. So when the record is more than one time, then it is being treated as a duplicate. That can be
Yes,
2,
yes.
that can be 3, or that can be n. All the other records are being going to be suppressed, but only the
But we are giving the first and last option while retrieving the data.
okay. So the primary thing that we need to take care is sort the data before removing the duplicates.
Yes.
Let me uh, make you understand that as well. Not here. Let me show the data through Excel. I'm copying the same data in an Excel so that it will be little more easy to get it. Okay, these are my column names.
Yes, yes. Here my doubt is here there is Banu from Hyderabad and Banu from Bangalore and one other entry like Banu from Chennai like that is there. We are
So
selecting
let's
the
suppose this is Chennai. Okay,
yes.
so in this particular case, first we need to make sure on the requirement. So say suppose I do have duplicates on student name, but which location would you like to retain? Then what we need to do is we need to make up the condition. So we need to sort this data. Say suppose I would like to sort on location and student. So there is also one more processing stage, which is sort stage. The main purpose of sort stage is to sort the data. Then what will happen? All my Banu records come to a single place. That means on which particular basis we are going to sort the data is the one which also we need to take in care. This Banu also, okay. So here we do have Banu records for 3 locations. Now we need to go to the people who have given the requirement and we need to check that. So for Banu, I do have 3 records which would be retained first. Then they will provide us, I want only the people from Hyderabad. Then we need to first filter the data based on Hyderabad and then we need to do the remove duplicates. Or else sometimes we also uh, feed with data like date. Okay, so here we are going to get Jan 10th 24 2024, 10th Jan 2024. Like that we do get some of the dates. Then we might ask, shall we pick the latest date? Then how we need to develop the job is, first we need to sort the data based on date in the descending order and we need to pick the first record. So this is all completely depends on how my data is available in my source and also depends on the requirement as well. So we need to ask, shall I going to pick up the latest record or shall I go and pick only the people from Hyderabad or shall I go and pick the people only from a different region, or there are also some other columns as well, right? So do we also need to check whether their class and section is same or not?
Yes,
So
yes. We have to
completely
sort according to our requirement.
that's all dependent on requirement. And no requirement will help you to say that you need to remove the duplicates. No one will tell us, go and remove the duplicates. But there might be requirement something like this. I need to extract the data from a source and need to save it or load to a target DB table, database table. While defining the table will not allow say suppose student with duplicates. That times, in that case, the record which is trying to insert in my table is going to be rejected by this particular DB. This DB is not going to insert these duplicates. Then we'll come back and check why that is been not inserting to my table. Then we need to add that remove duplicate stage and to filter out the things. But in no requirement, no one will ask to add remove duplicate stage in your requirement, because that is not a requirement at all. That is something we need to analyze the data. The developers need to check on the data and see how it is going to fit for the requirement. Say suppose the same student table I do have over here. Student is one of the table which is residing on my DB. So DB is going to have the column names, but also some constraints. Constraints is nothing but conditions. So in those conditions, it will tell when student name and location are same, then do not insert those two records. This we call as unique constraint. This is another topic again. So there are certain constraints which are available while creating a table on a database, like primary key constraint or unique key constraints, something like that. Primary key constraint means there should not be any row having duplicates on that particular column. So here there is no such primary key, because we cannot say that two different students should not have same name, right? Let me add roll number. Okay, and here I do have some roll numbers. So now we can say no two people from same class should have same roll number, right? That way it is making sense. So here, okay. So here we do have Amar from 8th class B section having roll number 1, which is acceptable. And again another Amar is there from class B section B, sorry, from class 9 section B having roll number 1. This case is allowed because here class is different. That means we are calculating the duplicate based on roll number plus student name plus class. So in that case, how we are going to develop the job is, here we need to add more keys. In the remove duplicate stage, click on this location and add one more key. And add one more key. Saying that the class should not be same and the location also should not be same. Okay, that means we are declaring a row as duplicate based on all these three columns. That means if all these three columns having same data, then only consider that record as a duplicate record. Is this understandable?
Yes.
Okay. So this is how we need to check the data, and we also should make sure is that making sense or not. If something is not making any sense, definitely we need to reach out to the people who has given us the requirement and tell the scenario. So this is how the data is, but which is not fitting to my target DB load. It is giving or it is erroring out. How we can sort this out? Is there any other column that can help us to remove that particular constraint which is making the job failure? As of now, here I'm saving the data in a sequential file. So sequential file is going to accept everything, but say suppose here I kept a database. Database, while defining the tables, we also define some conditions. While taking the data to this particular table, do not allow duplicates on this column, or do not allow combination of these three columns with duplicates. So those things need to be taken care. I will also explain the same thing when we discuss about a DB stage or database stage. We'll try to create one table with some constraints and we will try to do the similar exercise. In that case, you are going to understand in a better way. Okay, but this is how we can make use of remove duplicate stage to reduce the duplicates that are available in my source file. So as of now, we are removing the duplicates based on only student name, but we can increase the number of key columns to consider that as duplicate or not. And here we do have another option also. This is sub property. Let me explain you. I'm removing this part. So this is my first condition, which is asking keys that define duplicates. So student name is there. It is asking whether to consider case sensitive or case insensitive. What is case sensitive and case insensitive is, so here I do have a name Amar, and here I do have another name Amar. Okay. If I say case sensitive, then these two are not same. When I say case insensitive, then these two are considered as duplicates. So it is asking, should I also consider uppercase and lowercase of the string or not? So when we say case sensitive, that means please check even the uppercase and lowercase also must be matched. That means if it is case sensitive, then these two records been considered as duplicates, and this is not considered as a duplicate record out of these three. So for case sensitive, for the same, if we send these three records, the output is something like Amar and Amar. Whereas for the same data, if I select case insensitive, then we'll get only Amar or Amar. Only one name is going to pop up in the output. But how to set this up is here it is asking. So we need to keep this one as true or false. False means case insensitive. True means case sensitive. Okay. By default, it will take case insensitive. So as I told, we can also increase the key columns based on the data. So how you would like to remove the duplicates? In which scenarios you would consider a record as a duplicate or not? Any more questions so far? Let me show the data also. So here we do not have duplicated records. Only 12 records been saved out of 15, right? Whereas here we do see 15 records. This Banu Bhavya Bharani repeated twice. All those been deleted and saved only the distinct records. I asked to retain the first record, right? That's why Hyderabad record is there. And tomorrow we will see one another processing stage. And please do practice.